time for Cigar Talk, the fastest growing cigar show in the nation. Whether you're a new cigar enthusiast or a cigar aficionado, we have something for everyone. Bringing you the best interviews, cigar reviews. So grab yourself a cigar.
It's time to light 'em up.
What's up, Rob?
What's going on, man?
How you doing, man? How are you?
Hey, just so you know, we are taping the show and you're on it. This is the beginning of the show, to the by the way, as well.
Okay, all right. Well, good.
It was like
good timing.
Did you like my message? It was like, hey, what the fuck? I was just trying to. I was trying to throw you for a loop, man.
Yeah, I was like, is something going on that I don't know about?
You're like, this Rob dude's a dick.
It's like, is he pulling the rug on me?
Man, doing good, bro. So tell me, I was just telling Bryant here, our co-host, that I said, that hockey player I said we were going to have on? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, that dude's not a hockey player. He's just a cool dude that smokes cigars in Arizona.
That's right.
So how long you been smoking? Yeah, well, tell everybody who you are.
Well, my name is James. My real name is James. I go by that handle because that was one of my favorite hockey players.
Now, were you a fan when he was playing for the Stars?
You know what? It's funny you mentioned that because I did follow him, after he got traded to Montreal and then he went to Dallas as well. So I always followed. He played in Ottawa as well. So I always followed him wherever he went.
Gotcha. And that's cool.
I remember when he went to Dallas. So that was kind of like that was the end of his career. So you know what's funny? Today's his birthday. He's 39.
Oh, that's cool. Man. Wow, he's 39. He's young.
He's 39, and it's funny because me and him we were born in the same year.
Oh.
In November, I'll be 39. So I'm pretty sure that's why he wore the number 83.
Oh.
I don't know for sure, but so that was the year I was born.
Yeah,
well.
and I got a baby brother that was born in 81. So all of you fuckers are young. Oh, by the way, Bryant is on the show with us right now. So he's listening and laughing, and he's texting some 12-year-old boy about Boy Scout stuff. No, he's a Boy Scout leader.
Yeah, man, if you don't go,
he teaches. He shows them how to earn their badges.
No, not happening.
The last time he went to one of the camps, they were like, "We don't need no stinking badges."
That was you.
Oh yeah, that
was
me.
like he's like Damon Wayans and Major Payne, or what?
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, So how long you been smoking cigars?
I've been smoking probably since around, if I start remembering, it's probably been since about 2005, 2006.
Okay, so you got some time under your belt. You know what the hell's up.
I do, and it's crazy when I think back on it because I wasn't really into cigarettes. Some people I was around, they smoked a lot of weed and stuff like that. I never really got into that just because of the job situation. So
right.
Cigars was always my thing. And you think about it and I'm like, dang, I smoked some really shitty cigars when I first started.
Oh, dude. Yeah. I was talking about that like a couple of shows ago. I was like,
yes,
and there were cigars back in the day that I thought were good. And they sucked. But there were also some cigars back in the day that I thought sucked. And the reason was because when you first start out, you're such a cheap bastard that you're trying to get by on smoking cheap. And, when you're a brand new guy and a cigar tastes like ass, it's bad.
Yeah. I had a buddy of mine. He gave me like a 5-pack this a couple years ago now, and I was like, "Oh, thanks, man." And he goes, "Yeah, I kept them in the freezer for you." I was like, "What?"
That's
I was
nice.
like,
Get
no,
them nice and dried out.
Dude, I actually tried one and I had to toss the rest because they were just like, it was like smoking the ash with a little bit of a little bit of construction.
Yeah.
It's like.
The freezing part doesn't damage the construction, but it dries that shit out.
Oh yeah.
I was in a lounge one day, and the lounge we hang out at, we got some old guys that come in, and they were all like, back in World War I, And that's an
Wow.
exaggeration. Anyway, they're just old. But one of them was like, I'll tell you the best way to keep cigars, and that's to put them in the freezer. And I was like, dude, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard anyone say. I was like, you realize the freezing draws every bit of moisture out of your cigars. Now, I don't know if you have ever done this or if you know people that do it, but I know guys that buy cigars and have them shipped, and they're from Cuba. And in order to get rid of the beetles, they freeze them for like 3 or 4 days, and then they put them in the humidor. And then because they froze them, they have to let them like rest in the humidor for like weeks. And I'm like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah. I know a couple guys. There's a couple guys on the cigar Twitter, the Brother of the Leaf. Well, the one dude's from Canada, so he's allowed to go down there and bring things back to just outside of Toronto. And when he goes to Cuba, I don't think he puts them in the freezer, but he only can bring a certain amount back because of taxes and duties and stuff like that. So I don't think he just buys like Cohiba. He buys a bunch of Cuban stuff down there.
Now, have you smoked any
Trinidad.
Cubans?
Yes, I've smoked a couple of Trinidads, which are incredibly good cigar.
And I
Cohiba.
don't mean like shooting dudes from Cuba when I say if you smoked any Cubans. No. Yeah, I've only smoked a few, and I can honestly say that I've never had one that like blew my skirt up. You know what I mean? I don't know the history of what I smoked. I don't know how they were, stored, shipped, all that stuff. So I can't say that Cubans suck, because I do have a good friend that smoked a shit ton of Cubans just this last 6-7 months, because he was over in Odessa and met a dude that like had world-class collection. I mean, they were smoking cigars that were like, he didn't even know at the time, but he Googled it, and they were like between $1,500 and $2,000 a cigar.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, that's more than my first car.
Yeah, that's a little rich for my blood, but yeah. I mean, I know they can get pricey.
Oh,
so.
well, dude was smoking cigars that were pre-embargoed. So, I mean, that's way back. But just, poor man, from what I've smoked, I would much rather smoke a handful of cigars that I love and they're my go-to. So
absolutely.
It's like, so what cigars would you consider to be like your go-to? I mean, how many cigars you think you smoke in a week?
I do at least one a day for sure, and sometimes 2 or 3 on the weekends, just depending if I have the time. That's the thing. I don't like to rush when I smoke. If I have the time, then if I don't, then it's kind of rare. Usually at nighttime, I always have some time before I go to bed, where I'll sit out on the patio, which is actually where I'm at right now. I'm actually smoking a Don Tomas, so it's like a lighter blend. But I mean, for me, it's like my go-tos would probably be Gran Hermano and La Gloria Cubana. Those are my two go-tos for sure. I mean, I could smoke those 2 cigars, and I'm 39 until I go.
Let me ask you this: like, if you smoke 10 of each one of those, out of 10 of them, how many are going to be bad construction?
I would say probably, like, if you're talking about like an uneven burn, or like maybe a little canoeing.
You know what? I really don't mind an uneven burn. When I say bad construction, I mean it like unravels on you, or it tunnel burns, or it is so tight that you can't smoke it. You know what I mean?
Then none. It's 10 out of 10 then.
And you know what? That's what makes a go-to. A cigar that you can count on day in and day out. It's like, I don't want to have to jack. Like, earlier this morning, I was at the Leaf, and I picked up a what is the Saka cigar, the Creme Brulee. It's the Connecticut. And anyway, it was tight. I fought with it for about an inch in, and then I just threw the whole thing in the ashtray. And then I had also picked up the Mi Querida. No, was that? No. It was the Brulee, but whatever the Maduro version is. And so I smoked that, and probably halfway in, it had tunnel burned so bad, and I was like, you know what? I threw half of it in the ashtray, and I'm going to go get one of my go-to cigars because I don't want to think about my cigar. You know what I mean?
No. Yeah, you know what I mean? Sometimes your time is limited and you don't want to sit there. I've seen a few things on Twitter where, it's like a hole down the entire cigar. Like, I've never actually had that happen to me, but I've seen a few guys post pictures.
Are you talking about tunneling?
Hole. Yeah, tunneling, yes.
Yeah, so
where it's like a big old, it's like an ant.
Yeah.
It's like an ant farm down there, and it's like, good Lord.
If I catch a tunnel burn in the very, very early stages, which sometimes if you're just chit-chatting with your friends sitting around, you don't even notice that it's tunnel burning, and then you're puffing on it, and you see smoke coming out of the end, but you're not getting any smoke on your end, and you're like, oh, shit, it's tunnel burning. Well, if I catch it early on, I will actually pinch my cigar literally like a quarter inch from where the fire should be, and I pinch it so hard, and then I start puffing on it, forcing the airflow to go around the tunnel, and that actually catches the sides back on fire.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
But if you don't catch it early enough, the whole middle just becomes like charcoal.
Right.
And then you're screwed.
Yeah, it's like it's like that taste where you kind of put it down and then maybe you relight it half an hour, 45 minutes later. Then it's just like, you definitely get a different taste with that.
So, hey, something that we're going to do on today's show, and I'm going to challenge you to do it as well. And then on Twitter, take a picture and send it back to me so I know you did it and you're not just bullshitting me. I know how you Arizona guys are. No. So what we're going to do is we both brought our go-to cigars, and I think the one I already did this a couple of nights ago with the Medallia. You ever smoked a Medallia from McAuliffe Cigars?
I have not, no.
It's like one of my knockout go-tos. It's just freaking phenomenal every time. And so what we're doing is take out a sharp knife or a box cutter. I've got a case pocket knife. It's pretty sharp. And so I'm going to go around the edges, or not the edge. About an inch from the bottom. I'm going to go all the way around, and then I'm going to take just the wrapper off. And we're going to light up our cigars after doing that. And I've done it once before, but the cigar I did it with was not a go-to cigar for me. So I noticed a difference smoking that first inch without the wrapper. But when you do it with your go-to on a cigar that you know like the back of your hand, it's like, holy crap, that is totally not my cigar. And the reason that we were even doing it was because, like, what have you heard as far as what percentage do you think the wrapper plays in the flavor of the cigar?
The percentage?
Yeah, I mean, and this is not a scientific.
I would probably say, we're about to get some rain out here. I would say probably it's got to be upwards of 60 to 70%.
Okay, so that's the general consensus is 70%.
Okay.
And so I was reading and studying up on one of the blenders. I'm not going to name his name, but a lot of people know him. And so anyway, he was saying that's all bullshit. Your wrapper is not giving you the flavor. The wrapper enhances the filler in the binder, or it can actually even be used to mute flavors in the filler and binder. So you really can't say that the wrapper is 70% of the flavor, because without the wrapper, you're getting totally different flavors. You still know them, but they're not like as pleasant as what you know when the wrapper's on. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, it's a very cool experiment. We're going to try it tonight. Bryant's done it. No, Bryant, have you done it? Okay, so Bryant's never done it. And anyway, it was just a really cool thing to do. And I promise you, like, when you get off of that first inch and you get back to the wrapper, you're like, there's the cigar I know and I love.
Right.
So try that.
That's a cool little trick there.
Yeah. And so I have done it before, but I did it with a Roma Craft Neanderthal, which I've smoked a few of those over the years, but it's not like a go-to stick because I don't smoke a lot of like full-blown nicotine bombs because I smoke on average in the neighborhood of like 8 cigars a day. And so I don't want to be smoking powerhouses just all day long. You know what I mean? I smoke a lot of light cigars. I do smoke some powerhouses, but not all day, every day. I used to do that when I first started. Did you?
Yes. I mean, there's some darker wrappers that I smoke, but I tried it. Like the Gran Habano to me is not super, intense. I would say there was one, it was like it was like a coffee cigar.
Oh, like a Java or something?
Yeah, similar? It was like a Drew Estate, but it wasn't a Drew Estate though. I've seen a few of them. I can't remember the name of them off the top of my head, but I got a bundle of them.
You're probably smoking those really, back in your curious experimental days.
Dude, that cigar, that would hit you in the head for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
now
you said eight a day. That's why you got those berry white velvety pipes over there.
Oh, Rob. Yeah. Thank you. No, and no one has ever accused me of doing anything in moderation. And I mean, it could be like, driving fast. It could be smoking cigars. It could be drinking booze. Right. It doesn't matter. I don't like drink every day, but when I do drink, I enjoy getting down with it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Bryant's nodding his head because Bryant's seen me passed out in the yard next to the studio before. The funny story about that is we actually had a newspaper photographer over here taking pictures in the studio of us doing the show. They wrote a story about Cigar Talk, and that was the night I decided to drink Old Granddad 114.
Oh, boy.
And I was just happy he didn't take a picture of me laying in the grass.
The gardener was mowing the grass around you.
Oh, dude, when I got up, I was like, everybody left. It was, dude, what happened?
He's like, what time is it?
Yeah, and the funny thing is, Jay, our cigar shop owner, came by, and he saw me laid in the yard, and he got me a pillow, and he got me a blanket. And then my wife heard Jay out in the back and thought it was me, and she poked her head out and was like, what are you doing back there? And Jay was like, oh, Mrs. Jones, you might need to come over here for a minute. And he walked her around the side, and there I was laying in the yard, and he goes, we might want to help him in. And she was like, he's used to it. Leave him where he is.
So it was like a camping adventure for you. Huh?
Yeah. So anyway, are you a bourbon guy? I know you're a beer guy. I see you drink a lot of beer.
I do. And actually it's funny you mentioned that because, well, when I work, I get home, like I'll have a cigar at nighttime. Usually I have about 2-3 beers a night.
Okay.
Depending on, but on the weekends, like I'll do some whiskey, tequila. Tequila's probably my favorite, to be honest. I've always been like,
that's because you're still young. You're still young. I gave up tequila when I was 37. So
yeah. You gave it up, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I was never a tequila connoisseur, though. I was hey, let's have a wild night, and we'd start doing tequila shots. That's not a good idea. And so I never got into the whole sipping tequila, which I hear that's a thing. Are you into that?
No, it's only shots.
All right, exactly. That's the way tequila should be taken.
There's none of this sipping. I just have a regular shot glass. My favorite tequila is one. It's called Corzo. It's kind of hard to find even here now. I used to get it at Total Wine.
Now, what would you compare it to? I mean, I grew up back. I'm older, by the way, but I grew up in the 80s, and back then we thought Jose Cuervo was the shit, man. 1800 gold. It was awful.
Yeah, we were at a show. There was a battle of the bands down here last night down at one of the local places, and the guy I didn't do one, but he did like Hornitos, and I'm like, and so is a, Cuervo or whatever. I'm like, dude, that stuff is garbage.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, don't even bring that shit around here. I was like, Corzo for me. There's Coralejo.
How about Don Julio?
Patron's flashy. Don Julio is very good. Actually, when I was in Mexico, I helped a gentleman dig his ATV out, dig his side-by-side out. He buried it in the beach, and he invited me over. They were drinking Don Julio 1942, like the 70th year edition.
Oh, wow. No kidding.
That was some good stuff. Oh, yeah. So that was just his appreciation for me helping him out, me digging him, helping him out. So
you know what? That's how you make friends, is helping other people.
Exactly. So, but yeah, so those are go-tos. Like actually for a cheaper bottle, Milagro's not too bad. Espolón, you see a lot of advertisements for those now. They're not too bad. So for the price point.
Where do you see advertisements?
I would say, let's see, Instagram for sure.
Okay. Because I don't see any advertising anywhere I look because, I don't watch TV.
Right.
There's not any advertising going on inside my shed where I'm smoking. So,
right.
Anyway,
yeah, that's the thing too. Like I don't really watch, besides a little bit of sports. Like I really don't watch TV. I got rid of television. Like we just have like a little bit of Hulu here and there, but I just really don't watch. I don't watch television anymore.
I was up at the Leaf earlier today. That's our home shop, and we were in the back, and someone was talking about all these different shows, and I was like, you know what? I really only watch TV about 3 nights a week, and when I do, it's between 30 minutes to an hour, and then I'm done. Right. It's like if I have the choice to be watching TV or being out in my man cave smoking cigars, I'm going to choose the cigar smoking and the music and the booze every time.
Yeah. Yeah, I have I have a TV out back, and I have what I did is I got tired of listening to the radio and some of this other stuff, so I went on YouTube Red so I can download a bunch of songs to my phone. But I have it linked to that TV out back, so I can play, there's no ads.
Oh, yeah.
So I can play music while I smoke out back. Just like I said, that's what I do. I just listen to music when I'm out there, and, I'll be on my phone on Twitter and stuff like that, checking out what everybody's doing.
Yeah, I'm usually just watching porn. I'm serious. So, yeah, and the thing I love about YouTube music, by the way, and I do Spotify like 90% of my music, but what I've come to love about YouTube is you get all the live concerts. You know what I mean? Like I'm watching band, dude, on certain artists, just listening to them live is like so much better than listening to the studio stuff. You know what I mean?
It is true. It's very true. And it's all, and too, like being in person, obviously there's almost nothing like that. Depending on the venue, but
yeah. And I'll tell you what,
yeah.
Now you get to see some local, I imagine y'all have some pretty badass local bands.
It varies. The bands that were there last night, there was a couple that were pretty good. The local DJ who's, he says that's one of his slogans is rock local. So he was out there trying to promote them, get them out in the mainstream if he can. There's some decent stuff. Tucson doesn't get a whole lot of badass concerts.
Oh, really, man? I figured y'all would.
No, Phoenix does.
Now, how far is Tucson from Phoenix?
Depending on where you're going, for me to go to my mom's house in Mesa is only about an hour and a half. So it's not that far.
So, yeah,
about 90 miles.
For a good concert, it's worth the drive.
You can go up there. I was telling my buddy last night, we were BSing about concerts in the past, and I said one of the best shows I've ever been to was up at the Marquee Theater in Phoenix, and it was George Clinton in Parliament. So, and that's the thing too about me. But when I was growing up, I grew up on Bill Haley, Buddy Holly. We're talking and people older people, they look at me and they're like, how do you know about all this stuff?
Oh, dude, the first thing I look at is I'm like, your parents were cool as shit. That's what it is.
Yeah. And it was like, just growing up on all. I mean, I've seen Roger Whittaker live. I mean, I'm sure you know who he is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, the Kingston Trio. I mean, I've seen the Drifters. I mean, obviously it's not the original. It's not the original, but
some of them.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, absolutely. So I mean, and then my dad, he was kind of. And then you listen to newer stuff, and he's like, "Oh, this is noise." You know, he had the old man thing going on. But I was like, but I had an appreciation for it, and I think that's what increased my, like appreciation for music. I've always had an appreciation.
Yeah,
for music,
and like for me growing up, my mother loved like what was considered to be rock and roll in the 50s. And, the Big Bopper and all those dudes. What was that dude? Chuck
Richie
Berry
Valens.
and Richie Valens.
Yep.
And who was the...
Well, of course, you had Elvis. I mean...
Oh, yeah. Yeah. In fact,
Jerry
I was
Lee
a
Lewis.
huge... Are you aware that before Elvis took the nation by storm, that Jerry Lewis was positioned to be that person, and then Elvis came along and took it away?
Yeah, Jerry Lee was he was a very talented musician.
And he was very entertaining. He was energetic. Right. And, he was basically like Elvis, but then Elvis showed up and he was way better looking. And, that always wins out with the ladies anyway. Yeah, and Elvis didn't marry his 13-year-old cousin.
Yeah,
that's
true.
But good music all the way around, and so that's really where I find my happy space is out here in the evening listening. And I mean, my music taste and genres across the board is just everywhere, other than 96% of new music.
Yeah, that's probably true for me too.
Yeah, I mean, there's like 4% of some badass people making badass music, and I love them. In fact, one of the guys that I just can't get enough of right now, if you asked me 5 years ago, I would have been like, hell no, I'm not listening to that. It's bluegrass. But Billy Strings is taking bluegrass where it's never been before, and he's not taking it somewhere it shouldn't go. He's just so freaking talented on the guitar. Like, dude's probably 25 years old, and he's been playing since he was like 7. And he's an actual prodigy. And like, I seen a YouTube video the other day. He was playing with Carlos Santana. Those dudes don't just ask anybody to come play. You know what I mean? You got to have some credibility to show up and play on stage with that dude.
Right. Yeah, that's the great thing about it. You don't want to be that old man who shuts everything off. I mean, you hear stuff here and there, and then you're like, hey, this is actually pretty good, because there are very talented young kids coming up and young bands coming up that they do.
I got tickets this month to go see Charlie Crockett. I'm sure you don't know who he is, but he's about 25 years old. And all of his music sounds like it's from the 40s, 50s, and 60s. And somebody asked him in an interview one time, they were like, hey, why is all your music sound like it's from these generations? And he was like, I wanted to be original. I was like, hell yeah, bitch.
A couple years ago, my boss, he was a veteran, and he gets on that VetTix. He has an account on there, so he gets discounted tickets and stuff like that. But we went to see it's like Rockabilly. It's Reverend Horton Heat.
Oh, I've actually heard of him.
What a show that dude put on. Oh my gosh. So yeah, it's all, I mean, you have the old school Greasers and just the Rockabilly look with the the cigar, the cigarette pack and the T-shirt, but I mean, that's folded up.
Oh yeah.
So no, it was a great show though. I mean, it's very, for me, it's entertaining.
I grew up in Lubbock, so Buddy Holly, you mentioned him earlier, and I was, in fact, Big B over here didn't know this, but I was like, dude, Jimi Hendrix and all those dudes from Jimi Hendrix to Led Zeppelin, the Beatles even. All those dudes were like, wow, check out this Buddy Holly dude. And it was an inspiration to them on what could be done. He was one of the first people to do what he did with the guitar.
Right. Yeah, him and like Chuck Berry's got to be a guitar legend.
Oh,
too. I mean, that
oh
dude,
yeah. Hell yeah, dude. In fact, I lived in St. Louis back in like 1992, 3, somewhere in there.
Right.
And me and my roommate went to this bar called Blueberry Hill, and we'd never been there before. And we get a couple of drinks, and back then I smoked cigarettes, and everybody in the bar smoking, and like we've been there for about 45 minutes, maybe an hour, and there's a band up on stage, and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna take a little break, and somebody wants to get up here and play." And I look up, and it's Chuck Berry.
Oh my gosh!
Like, it's not a Chuck Berry concert. He just happened to be like, "Hey, I want to play," and they're like, "Hell yeah!" Well, then I found out that he actually owned the bar. So he goes up there and play. Well, back before he passed, and he was playing there like maybe 3-4 times a month, just random. He would be at the club and be like, "You know what? I feel like playing tonight."
Right.
And dude was amazing.
That's a diamond in the rough. And those are the best too. I mean, that's like incredible that you were there on that night.
Oh,
too.
dude, it was free. There was no cover charge. I mean, we were just in there drinking, and I was like, dude, Chuck Berry, And, at the time, I was only 21, and I was like, I know Johnny B. Good. And then after that, though, because he got into that night that he played, he was playing rock, he was playing blues, he was all over the place, but it was so amazing. So then I kind of dove into some Chuck Berry and was like, holy shit, that dude was like amazing.
Yeah, he was very, very talented, a great artist. So
tell me, where you are, do you have like some home shops that you go to for cigars?
I do buy some locally. Normally I do get my cigars from Cigars International.
Boo. Boo. Hey, you know what? Hey, dude, I've been there. I've done it. They're cheap. And, we try to support the brick and mortars, but I also tell my own brick and mortar, I'm like, I have a budget for the brick and mortars every month, and I usually go over that budget. But I also have an online budget because when people come into the studio, sometimes we have me and Bryant here, but then sometimes there's like 6 other people watching while we do the show, and it's really more of a party. And my rule is if you come over here and hang out while we do the show, you get unlimited cigars the whole night. You get unlimited bourbon, and that all comes out of my pocket. So, yeah, sometimes, I got to buy cigars online so I can give them $3 cigars while they're here.
Right.
So,
yeah, we do have, and actually there used to be a couple of different shops, and now there's only one. It's called Anthony's.
Well, how big is Tucson?
Let's see. We're growing too. So I think in Pima County, we're definitely up to around a couple million people now.
Oh, no shit. There's a couple of million people and you only have one cigar lounge?
No. Well, there's more than there's one shop, but he has multiple locations. So
how many locations does he have?
Let's see. There's one about 2 minutes from my house, and then there's one, there's 3, I think there's about 4.
And are they set up to where you can go in and hang out and smoke like a lounge? Okay.
Yes. Yeah, it's like a lounge. They have a walk-in humidor. You have an entrance and an exit. The guys are really cool in there. The guy, I went in, I did have cash, and he says, "Oh, you're paying cash." He goes, "I'll cut you a little break or whatever." So,
nice.
The guys are real cool. If you have any questions, they're on top of things. So, they have way more in Phoenix, more. I Ambassador, and
I actually know a lot. There's one called the Fox Lounge. I know some guys that have been there. They sent me pictures. Looks badass. But yeah, Phoenix has a shit ton, and I think
they do.
Flagstaff has quite a few too.
Yeah, I haven't really smoked up in Flagstaff. I've been up there a couple of times, but never really looked around. It was kind of a quick visit here and there, so didn't really get to check it out too much.
Gotcha.
But,
you ever been to Yuma?
I've been through there. Never really stopped.
You know why
So-
everyone knows Yuma, right?
Because of the movie.
Yeah. From what was he? Something Bellagio. That was his name, and he grew up in Yuma, but that was all bullshit. Anyway, we're talking about Vegas Vacation movie, Bryant.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the 310 to Yuma.
Oh, no. I'm talking about Vegas Vacation. On his ID, it says he's from Yuma. And when he gets carded, he's like, yeah, I'm a software engineer. And they're like, all right, go on in. So do you go to Vegas every so often? I mean, you're not that far.
It's about 450 miles from where I'm at.
Well, here I think it's like 4.3 million miles. So you're a lot closer.
Yeah, fortunately too, I got a couple of buddies that live up there, so if I do go up there, I have a place to stay.
Oh, hell yeah.
So there's some nice lounges. The one that I frequent when I go up there it's called 8.
Oh, yeah. I went to that one the last time I was over there, and
it was in Resorts
really nice.
World, so.
Yeah.
That's a fancy dancy lounge.
Now,
so.
I did not care for the Resort World. It was like trucking through a huge mall. That sucked. But the 8 was definitely a nice lounge. We got there, and it was funny because it was in January, so it was actually pretty cold outside, but the inside was packed, and we had to sit outside. So we actually grabbed a table and some chairs and slid them into this little cubby hole to like bar ourselves from the wind. And anyway, we've been drinking all day, and I sometimes, very rarely, but sometimes, a smart ass. And anyway, this dude's walking by, and I'm like, hey, man, you need to check out the bathroom. Your fly's open. And he looks down, and I start laughing because, his fly's not down. And he walks over, and he's like, hey, how's it going? I'm like, oh, it's going good, man. What's going on with you? He's like, da-da-da-da. And I'm like, hey, I'm Rob Jones. I do Cigar Talk. What do you do? And he goes, oh, I own this place. And I was like, oh shit. Cool, man. I'm glad I was an asshole to you. And,
right.
Dude, he was so cool, though. He was like, hey, what are you and your friends drinking? And I was like, we're drinking, what was it? Angel's Envy Bourbon. And he was like, all right, I'll send over a round. And I was like, dude, cool, man. Just super nice guy after I just got through being a dick.
Right.
So I don't mind those kind of places. It's like, you know what? I didn't make it to any of the other cigar lounges that I think are like just totally overrated anyway, because of the name.
Right.
I don't even know what I don't even remember what they're called, but I was like, I think one of them was the Monte Cristo something or Tro Fuente something, and I was just
they have one in the Caesar's Palace.
Yeah. That's the one. We walked by it and didn't even go in. I was like, meh.
Yeah. Last time we were there, well, I've been there a couple of times. I was there in February of this year, and we sat on the patio, and then they had the fireplace going out there, and they had some heaters. I mean, it was chilly, but it wasn't terrible. And then the next time I went was Memorial Day.
It was perfect.
Yeah, it was great at nighttime. We were back on the patio. I don't know. For me, it's like a comfort thing. I mean, whatever. I could sit inside too, but I mean, it was just nice to be outside.
Oh, dude, like, when the weather's nice, I would much rather be outside.
Yeah. Yeah, like right now, I mean, it's like mosquito season over here, so that's the other thing. You got to wear the Arizona cologne with the
the
mosquito spray,
the old DEET.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, we don't even have mosquitoes in Texas right now because like it hasn't rained in 6 months. No, it hasn't rained in 6 months. There's no breeding ground for them, so that's good. But the heat and the no rain, it sucks. Yeah,
it's actually just like I said. Yeah, I think you heard the thunder a few minutes ago. It's starting to rain. So it's crazy how these weather patterns changed. Because I moved here 20 years ago or so, it rained like now 4 and 5 o'clock local. It would the clouds roll in. It would rain
like
for a little while,
day.
and it would go away.
Yeah,
every day between like middle of July, and it goes all the way into. So, but then it went away for years.
Wow.
And now it seems to be back. So
I want to point out to the listeners, who's that? Oh, we don't want to talk to that dude. Anyway, I want to point out to the listeners, like, the way me and you even started interacting was because cigars. You know what I mean? I saw you posting cigars. I was like, oh, I'm going to follow that dude. And I don't know when, but then eventually you followed me back. And, you know, and then I thought you were the hockey player. And I went and Googled pictures of the hockey player. And I was like, well, all I can imagine is that he was better looking back then. I was like, he doesn't look like he does now. Because you look like a hockey player, dude. You look like a hockey player. You know what I mean? You're like, I told Brian, I was like, he's this big, gnarly dude. He had to be a defensive lineman type guy.
Right.
He's like, I don't know who this dude is.
Well, it's funny too, because I mean, that's where I'm originally from Minnesota. So, I mean, hockey will always be in my blood.
Oh, so did you play?
You know, I played just like local stuff. I never played any organized, but I mean, I played pickup games and, you know, stuff like that. But I never played for any teams or, you know, even semi-pro or anything like that. So
gotcha.
But I've always enjoyed the game. I mean, my dad was a high school goalie back in Minnesota. So, I mean, it's always been around. It's always been in my blood.
Yeah. So do you have kids?
I do. Yeah. I have
and
two.
And are they hockey players?
No. My son wants to get into roller hockey. I don't know. We'll see. But you know, he likes soccer. He's played baseball. He's a kid, you know, he's jumping all over. One week he likes skateboarding, the next, you know, and I tell him, hey, you just do what you like, man.
Enjoy life, because you're only going to be young once.
Absolutely. So, and I said, I'm not trying to live through you, you know, like whatever your passions are. I'm not going to say, well, you got to play hockey or.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm fixing to piss off a bunch of like dad coaches, because if you're living through your kids, man, dude, let them live their life. Come on.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's what I tell them. I was like, whatever, you know, my daughter, her birthday is actually next Friday, so she'll be 10.
Nice.
And then my son's 8. So I mean, you know, they're on the younger side.
Oh, dude, that is the best freaking time. And I'm going to tell you right now, advice from a mono to mono, you got to enjoy it, because coming about another year to 2 years, your daughter's going to think you're stupid. She don't want to have nothing to do with you, and then she'll come back around, but it's going to be like 6 years later. I promise you. You wait, you're going to think, oh, no, man, my daughter, she's a daddy's girl. My daughter was a daddy's girl. We went on adventures. We did stuff together. And then it was like, you're dumb.
Well, it's funny, Rob. I just measured her the other day. I think she just hit the 5-foot plateau, and she's only 10.
Wow. So
yeah, she's gonna be a tall drink of water.
My daughter's actually 5'10", and she's 20. And I think we're going back into the you're dumb stage. Like I thought that we were all good, but I think that now we're going to go back to round 2 of you're dumb.
Back into it, huh?
Yeah, but you know, when I was that age, I wanted to get as far away from my parents as I possibly could. I grew up in West Texas my entire youth. And so when I got the opportunity, I moved to St. Louis. Dude, I didn't know a soul in St. Louis. And I was just like, hell yeah, I'll go. I went up there, got a job. I moved up there in my car, no furniture. I bought everything from scratch. And damn, I had one of the best years of my life in St. Louis. And I got to go see some St. Louis Blues hockey.
Yep.
And I mean, who was not a fan of Hall? You know what I mean? Hall was a badass. And then he surprised me and came and played for the Stars after I had moved back to Texas. So I'm not a huge hockey fan like you are. It's not in my blood. But because I lived in St. Louis, I had to take in whatever I could, and I actually really enjoyed it. And then when I lived in Dallas, my wife worked for some company that got free tickets, so we went like maybe once to 3 times a week. And it was amazing. It was fun. In fact, I'm also a Dallas Cowboy fan, and I can tell you that all the Stars games were always way more fun than any Cowboy game I've ever been to, mainly because every game I've been to for Cowboys, they've lost. And so that sucks. But it was just, you're so much closer to the ice, and you can really follow what's going on versus in football. Dude, we were in a nosebleed section, and when you were looking across the other end of the field, it was like, I really can't see shit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one thing about going to live football games. I mean, I'm a big Notre Dame fan, and I've seen them in a couple, like, the one was the Fiesta Bowl when they played Ohio State. I was about 6 rows off. And see, that's the thing. People will say, well, how much you drop on that ticket? And I was like, well, it was $250. But I was like, why the heck am I going to go to this game? And it was just up the road. It was in Glendale, which is about a 2-hour drive from here. And I said, why am I going to go to a game
and have city sheets
if the fucking players look like ants? I was like, no. Like, this is when Sean Kaiser was the quarterback. You had, I got to see Zeke Elliott, and I actually got to see Joey Bosa. So, I mean, it's crazy to, and you're right there, you're right on top of the action. You hear the pads hitting, you hear all the calls, you're right there. So for me, yeah, that's the thing about hockey. Usually the stadiums are kind of built where even if you're up in the nosebleeds, you can see plays develop.
Dude, you can see. I mean, and you're not that far away. I mean, it's not like you're in a football stadium when there's like 100,000 people, at least for the Dallas Stars back in the late 90s. Right. I don't know where they play now, but back then, I mean, I'm going to guess the freaking whole place didn't hold more than like 40,000 people. So you're pretty close.
Well, since you're a Cowboy fan too, we were lucky enough when we moved out of Minnesota, we went out to the Palm Springs area. We had vacationed out there, and my dad, he was like, well, we should move out of there, because I guess trying to find a house around 92 was kind of hard over there. So we moved out to California, which brought a whole different, lifestyle.
So you've been kind of like different places. You're not just
Minnesota. That's where I grew up a little bit. And then we went to Palm Springs, and then I've been over here ever since. But the cool thing about Palm Springs area was you had all the celebrity golf tournaments. So that's why I bring that up, because we met a lot of the old school guys that your dad would tell you about, or, you just saw on YouTube on clips and stuff like that. So, I mean, we met Bob Lilly.
Oh, dude, let me tell you something.
Don Meredith,
Bob Lilly grew up 12 miles away from my dad's town. And when he was in his 20s, he used to pay my dad for guided hunting tours. And so I actually got to meet Bob Lilly when I was a little kid. And I don't even really remember it, but I have a picture of us. And so anyway, it was just kind of cool because Bob Lilly was like a true country boy. Yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, I remember my dad, of course, he grew up in Minnesota, when the Vikings started in 1960. And he was saying, one of the most famous Vikings probably is Alan Page, went to Notre Dame, played for the Vikings. And he says, how little these guys made back in the day. He said, Alan Page graduates from Notre Dame and he has a summer job, doing whatever, washing cars and stuff. I mean, it's just crazy to think about that. I mean, guys now, they have personal chefs. They're working out in the off season. That there's no off season really.
No, there's no such thing as an off season. It's either you're getting ready for the next season or you're getting ready by having surgeries. Everybody's got to get ready. But, the funny thing is, I used to be a die-hard football fan. I watched all the teams, but I was always a Cowboys fan. But in today's market, man, I don't have, I'm not like an anti-football fan because of the protest. That's not who I am. I believe in free speech 100%. And if you try to take away my free speech, fuck off. And so, anyway, I'm just not into it because they've changed the game so much from the early 90s, whenever I was a huge Cowboy fan because we actually won some. But even before that, it was like, dude, football was tough. And I'm not saying it's not tough now. I mean, if you're a fucking lineman or a linebacker, it's tough every play. But it's not tough for some of the guys because you can't hit them, you can't drag them and all that good stuff. And so over time, it's just become all about the money. And so I think the money has ruined the game on a certain level. And so and if you look at young people, like in their like 30 and below, the amount of football fans is shrinking like exponentially.
Yes.
And maybe that's because they're all tenderfoot and they're like, don't want to see somebody get hurt. I don't know what the reason is. I just know it's not as much as it was whenever I was that young. Because when I was that young, everybody was a football fan.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look at baseball. I mean, I remember even in my, when I was like 4 and 5, I mean, baseball was 87, 88. I mean,
the good years. Dude, all the sports.
Yeah.
Once you got into 2000, all the good sports were really changed in a way that we would never enjoy them like we once did.
Yeah. Well, and I think a lot of that, just going back to your point about the athletes' salaries, is now when you take a family to a game, I mean, you got to hit up JG Wentworth for a freaking loan, because
right?
I mean, it's like it's literally like you're putting down a lot of money. I mean, just like I said, if I took my entire family to that Notre Dame Ohio State game,
yeah, I mean,
that's $1,000
that's
$1,000 for
and
tickets.
That's not,
alone.
That's not even refreshments and parking it's crazy. And back to the music thing, that's how concert tickets are getting to be too, dude. Mm-hmm. I was looking to go see one of my favorite musicians at the Red Rock up in Colorado in September, and the cheapest seat was $450, and I was like, yeah, I'm out.
Jeez. Who are you gonna go try to see?
Tyler Childers. You probably don't know who that is, but he's an Appalachian country music artist, and the thing
even for him, like $450.
Right? Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Right.
Man.
We're not talking about headliners that everybody knows. We're talking about but I mean, like if he was to do it for $200, I would probably go. But the thing about it is, the tickets probably weren't $200, but now all these scalpers buy all the tickets, and you can only get them on Ticketmaster, and they're like 2-3 times what they should cost.
Yeah, it's a lot of things are going up, and I remember the last podcast I listened to you guys, you're talking about the cigars going up. I mean, you can definitely see that as well.
Oh yeah, I mean,
and
when I went and bought the Saka cigars today, I was like, oh, those are like $1.20 more than I remembered them. You know what I mean? And it's like, I don't smoke them very often, but I smoke them often enough to know it hasn't been that long since the price change. I was like, wow. But, and I don't blame the shop, because they're going to just basically, they have a business model that says, when we pay for these cigars, when we sell them, we're going to just charge double for what we paid for them. And some people might be like, oh, well, you're marking them up 100%. Well, yeah, because the cigar shop is paying for the air conditioning. They're paying for the lease on the building. They're paying a water bill, electric bill, and they have tons of equipment, if they're any good, to keep it to where it's not so smoky. So I think that's a good business model. I understand the price raise, because with the cost of gas or fuel across the board, you're going to pay more for shipping, because the trucking company, the railroad, they're not going to eat that cost. They're going to pass it on. And then those guys are going to pass it on. And by the time they're done with it, we are the low man on the pole.
So, the consumer.
Yeah, that's us. So, it is what it is. And if you want to smoke and enjoy, don't bitch about it.
Yep, that's what I was telling this lady the other day on my coffee route. I was like, she was saying something about gas prices, and I was like, well, I said either you bitch about it or you pay it, and
or you do both,
I mean,
or you do both. There's some people that are
Yeah,
bitching about it.
Yeah, it's like, but you just understand it, and you just keep grinding. You just be the best you can be, and
Like, what's a
whatever.
gallon of gas out there right now cost in your area?
Well, that's why I was talking to her too, because I said, well, on my way to work, there's a Walmart that actually has a fuel station, which is kind of rare. I think it's the only one in Tucson, but it was $3.52 a gallon.
Okay, so you know,
and that's 10 cents cheaper than Costco, and you don't even need a membership.
dude. I was up in Lubbock, Texas, a few weeks ago, and when I came back, the next town over, which is Slayton, probably 6,000 people. Anyway, on the highway that you go through the town, their gas station was $2.69. And I was like, that's actually like acceptable to me. Like
Right.
Being a Texas guy, we have a lot of oil field workers, and anytime you're over $2.50 a gallon, people are freaking working. And so I don't mind paying $2.50 to $3. I really don't. When it gets up to $3.89, $3.95, I'm like, ugh, now that's starting to notice. You know what I mean? And like, I know that they're not taking any more guys to work because it's up to $3.89. So, but when I see it $2.50 to $3, I'm like, hey, you know what? If I'm helping pay for families to have their income, I'm all down with that. It's just, I don't want to pay $4 because they're not putting any more people to work. Just people are making more money. So, let me ask you this before we go. Like, do you go to any cigar festivals or any trade shows? Are you involved in any of that?
Let's see. So last year, I haven't been to actually an official event. But last year we were lucky enough to have, and I'm not sure if you've even heard of these, but there was a gentleman, Enrique Sanchez. He owns 1502 Cigars.
I do not know that brand.
Yes, and so he came out. He flew into Phoenix. He has XO. He has like a Ruby blend. Now he has he's been doing it for a while. He lives down in Miami, and the thing is, I mean, the guy's just loaded. He's well off, but the guy couldn't have been cool, and he's cool as the other side of the pillow. He's talking to you about barbecuing.
He's a regular dude. He's a regular
Absolutely.
dude. Yeah.
Regular guy. He's talking to me about barbecuing, which I love to do. And but he came out. There's a gentleman up in Phoenix. You may have, I'm sure you've seen him on Twitter, Cigar Chairman, Steven.
Probably so.
Incredibly generous person.
Well, I'm going to have to check out their cigars. Have you tried their cigars?
I have. They are amazing. Actually, when we were on that, we got a bunch of people together in the Phoenix Metro, and that's actually when I met that gentleman from just outside Toronto.
Oh, cool.
Him and his wife came in and from Toronto, and we had a bunch of people. We went to 4 or 5 different shops around the Phoenix Metro area. We went to Embargo Cigars. We went to Cigars Daily.
Cigars you've been to Cigars Daily. That's cool. Did you get to meet Tim?
I believe so. If he's the owner, then yes.
Yeah, he's like the bald dude. He's kind of hyped up, and
yeah, he's got the Michael Strahan.
Yeah,
he's got the gap. Yeah. He was in there, incredibly gracious.
Dude, that is a good dude. We had him on the show once, and I was super impressed with just how chill the dude is.
Yep, he's big into social media. He does a lot of. I follow him on Instagram. He does a lot of. He's always putting out videos and stuff like that.
Yeah, dude probably does like 4 or 5 videos a week on YouTube. He's got more time than I've got. So,
but then we finished up at actually Stevens. He has a locker up there it's called Stag. It's up in Scottsdale. They're an official like Davidoff supplier and stuff like that. It's a pretty high end shop.
Okay.
And so we finished up with them, but Enrique, the 1502 owner, just incredibly gracious, great fellow. So if you haven't checked his out, then
Yeah,
I
I
would
definitely will.
I would definitely
will.
recommend there.
In fact,
Shoot
shoot me a message on Twitter with the name of
Yes,
his
sir.
cigar company, because I'd love to check them out.
Yep. Yeah. And he just released like a 10-year anniversary. I would like to smoke one of them. I'm not sure how much they are, but he advertises them on his Instagram page. And so, yeah. And I guess Steven was trying to get his hands on some, but I mean, he hit Steven up because Steven was smoking like the 1502s, and that's like one of his XO brand. And he says, "Oh, I noticed you smoke a lot of my cigars." And he says, "How about I just come into Phoenix?"
Nice.
He goes, "Well, should I just, tote you around?" He says, "No, I just want to come smoke with you and hang out." So I mean, he flies in from Miami. I mean, yeah, just the coolest dude, man. Like incredibly gracious and a humble person. So,
Well, awesome. Well, hey, man, thanks for taking the time to hang out with us on the show. We got a lot of other shit we got to talk about that doesn't involve you. No, I'm just messing with you.
Brian was quiet over there.
Oh,
he must be
you know
smoking.
what? Brian is very timid.
Man, gone with that.
He's a little nervous.
Yeah.
But no. Yeah, but also, dude, I mean, I love what you do on Twitter. Tell everybody what your Twitter handle is if they want to come follow you, because you post a lot of good shit. And what I found is, like, I'm not that active on Twitter. Like, in fact, I have more interaction with you and like 2 other people, and that's about it. Like, I post, like, when new shows come out, I post what I'm smoking from time to time. I'll post a booze photo from time to time. But it's like, I hate social media. But it's like
you sounding like that old man now, Rob.
I know. But but here's the thing, dude. When you do a podcast, you try to, like, post what you're supposed to post on Instagram. You post what you're supposed to on Facebook. You post on Instagram, and it's like, I mean, not Instagram, on Twitter. And it's just so much. You know what I mean? It's like, if I could have somebody just do that for me, that would be awesome. But I can't, because then that person would have access to some messages I've sent to people.
Right.
And those messages are kept in a dark place away from the FBI. So you can't trust those bastards. Anyway, tell everybody where they can find you on Twitter.
It's Oilers Fan, and then it's got 2 N's because somebody already took the one with 1. So it's Oilers Fan with 2 N's and then 83, obviously. So.
Oh, see, I thought your Twitter name was like Hensky 83.
Yeah, it's Hemsky. Yeah, it's 83. You can spell it out, but if you type in Oilers Fan 83, it'll probably
be
bring
there.
it up. So
bam.
Yeah.
And the dude posts great content. And what I love about your Twitter account is how people respond to you. Like, when you told me I'm not the hockey guy, I was like, I don't give a shit, because you are like somebody that I see on Twitter, just transparent, doing what you do. And I'm like, I'd smoke a cigar with that guy. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's like, that's, I mean, you don't have to be a hockey player famous to be on the show. You got to be a cigar guy that I want to hang out with.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's the one thing before you guys got to go. I saw a bunch of people tagging people in photos, and I thought, why not make a video and call someone out who you see on there all the time as well?
Yeah.
So I got a 45-second, where I got 45 seconds of video that I can upload. So I try to keep it within, obviously that 45 seconds, and then I tag a few people, but I always choose someone. So I choose a follower, and I haven't run out of people yet.
Nice. Nice.
But I call someone out, and I can't tell you, Rob, how many times when we were just up in Phoenix a couple of weeks ago in the end of July, there's a guy, Paul, really cool guy, just moved back from California. He says, you know what? He goes, it's crazy, man. When you tagged me, I was moving back, and he said that message just hit me in the heart, bro.
Dude,
because
yeah.
he says I was having a shitty freaking day, and I'm moving back. I'm have all this stress, and he says you just said, hey man, this one's for you, and it's just like I think the visual and the video is more personal than just, hey, your name's on this tag.
Right.
At least for me.
No, I agree 100%.
Whatever. I mean, if you want to go, if people want to tag people, that's fine.
Dude, I was excited.
I
was excited when you gave me a shout out.
Dude, you got an epic shout out. I was up there in doggone. I was off the Columbia River in Oregon.
Yeah, you were like, I thought you were in Columbia or some shit. I didn't know where you were, but it was beautiful. It was like when I saw your photos, I was like, dude, I would love to be there, just hanging out and smoking and drinking.
We're right there in Hood River, Rob. Hood River, Oregon. We were camping out right there, a little family vacation. Like the wife has some extra time. I only had a week, but I was up there for that week, and it's just, it's incredible. It's a beautiful part of the country for sure.
I love the northern states, especially when you're in Texas and it's hotter than balls. And I know being in Tucson, you know what that's like.
Oh yeah, and that's a good time to get out of here too. Is
Hell
when the kids are when they're on summer break, is to get the heck out of here.
Yeah, I'm trying to talk my wife into, you know what? Let's just say fuck it and move to New Mexico. I want to live in the mountains. So far, she's not on board, but I am very, very persistent.
Santa Fe.
Santa Fe's too expensive, bro.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's all trendy now.
Dude. Some movie stars bought homes there and fucked up the whole town. Like a house that used to cost $250 is now like $1.5 million.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean they ruined it. And so, but if you just like 2.5 hours from there, Ruidoso, New Mexico, you can still buy a really nice house from like $150 to $250.
Yeah.
And their weather year round is where I want to smoke. Hey, bro, I'm going to have to let you go. I've got somebody calling me. But hey, man, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Absolutely.
Sorry I blindsided you.
Man. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you for the time. Thank you for the time, brother. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you, man. Hey, but we'll talk soon, bro.
Absolutely. You guys enjoy the rest of your evening, okay?
All right,
Have
guys.
a good one.
Hey, we'll be right back after a quick break, guys. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, guys. We had a great interview with the Hempsky guy. That's not even his real name, but that's what he goes by on Twitter. Great guy. Like, if you don't follow him on Twitter, you should. Like, when I thought he was actually a pro hockey player, he looks like one. He looks like a dude you don't want to bump into in a dark alley. Big dude. What are you looking for? Cutter? There you go, bro. Anyway, let's talk about what we're smoking. And I just toasted and lit up. And we're doing what we talked about earlier with Hempsky. I'm smoking the Maceda Sun-Grown by Tabanero. I cut about an inch, maybe not quite an inch, but pretty damn close. And I've done this before with a cigar I didn't like smoke all the time. I'd smoked it, but it wasn't my first time, but it wasn't one of my go-tos. I did this experiment with one of my go-tos just a couple of nights ago, and I was blown away at the difference.
Well, we walk in this path together, so.
And tell everybody what you lit up.
I lit up Aromacraft Wanderlust.
Forgive me if I'm wrong, but did you just say clit up?
I said lit up.
It sounded like you said CLIT up.
I said lit up.
Okay. You know what? My dirty mind could make that shit up, but I'm thinking that's what I thought you said. And if you did, own it.
I didn't say
it.
I don't remember saying that, so.
In fact, I thought you said the clitoris.
You will rewind it and find out. So.
That's true.
Wanderlust. Oh, man.
If it is, I'm going to max volume it. Anyway. And I cut the inch off of Bryant's wrapper also. So, like,
I'm already tasting it different.
I mean, it's different. And it's not that necessarily that you can be like, oh, I'm missing this or I'm missing that. All you know is that's not my go-to. That's not the regular flavor I'm experiencing right now. And, I mean, if you smoked a Wonderlust and then the very next cigar I cut an inch off and you smoked it, you would not know if you were blindfolded. And yeah, I mean, if you were blindfolded and your wrists were bound and you were wearing a ball gag, you would still.
How do you smoke the cigar if you got a ball gag?
If you drill a hole through it, and you know what I say, go a quarter of an inch bigger than the gauge you plan on putting in there. Make it flow easily.
Dude, you are so wrong, man.
I'm sorry, I couldn't resist.
We know, and that's the bad part about it. You never say no to that dude on your left shoulder. You never say no to him.
Hey, and the guy on my other shoulder, I
right.
keep him in my pocket.
Yeah, he's like, shut up. It's like, why? I'm gonna listen to him only.
This guy's way more fun.
Dude.
Come on, dude. You gonna listen to a white dude or a red dude or a purple dude, whatever color you think he is, depending on what emojis you use.
Oh my gosh, man. This is something
know
else,
what I'm
bro. This is something else. It's a difference.
How you been, man?
Man, just
you're recovering from a
going
knee
along.
replacement.
Yeah, going along. That's all it is.
And
it's going along.
Is
man.
it easier this go around?
It's longer.
It's longer, but is it easier because it seems like you're doing better?
I am, because this one is different than the left, because I didn't do the outpatient PT with the left one, which I'm doing with this one, and it's actually helping my left leg out as well as my right.
So you're going and working with a professional to tell you what you need to do.
To tell me what I need to do, how to do it, when to do it, how long to do it, and me being who I am, I always try to do more, and they're like, no, slow down. You just go to this point. I'm like, but
yeah, because
I want to work more.
Sometimes that's not good for you, though.
And that's what they're telling me, because with the muscles, you can't, after them being cut the way that they were cut, I have to take my time doing it. So I just accept it. So
well, but I can tell a huge difference in your rate of recovery
than the first time.
Oh, dude, night and day.
Yeah, true.
I mean, your first go around was rough.
Dude, it was terrible.
I mean, like right now, you would not be here on the other surgery.
I wasn't.
Right.
I wasn't.
I know you weren't.
It took me.
I think you were gone for 6 weeks.
No, I was gone longer than that, because I had the surgery in February.
Well, I thought that's when you went down to the clinic for the abortion.
No, I had the surgery in February and going there. And the first time I taped was in June.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was in June.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like almost 4 months.
Yep. This time it was what? It ain't even been 2 months yet.
Oh, dude, you surprised me.
Yeah.
Like 3 weeks in.
Yeah, because I was able to do more.
I was like, what the hell?
What are you doing here? Yep. It's different this time. When you know, the first time I didn't go to outpatient therapy, physical therapy, because I didn't know about it. They didn't tell me. So it was all me.
Whoa.
They
so
didn't.
It wasn't your choice back then.
It wasn't my choice. I just didn't know about it. So it was all on me doing things and just Googling and YouTube and exercises for a knee replacement. So I had to do all that stuff on my own. Suffice to say, I didn't mess myself up, so I'm thankful.
And that's good.
Yeah.
But I mean, when it comes down to it, though, you're not a freaking doctor.
No,
you're not a professional trainer.
Nope.
And when you think about our generation, dude, exercising and rehab has come a long way.
Dude, it is totally night and day. You know, because we're both children of the end of the 70s and the 80s.
Right.
It was all about overworking. You can work it out. You can work it out. You break your ankle, get out there, just put some spit on it and get out there and keep running. Now, and it take us 4 months to get back. Now, with the way that if you follow the medical professionals and do what they tell you to, 3 weeks, a month. Yeah, a month, and you back out there.
It's crazy.
It's totally a difference. It's totally a difference.
Now, I told you, I believe, I found a place here in Abilene that I'm going to go to probably on Monday of next week. Not this week, but next. And they have the sensory deprivation tanks.
Yeah.
I have been dying to try that.
Me too.
Do you know what it is?
Yeah, you go in there, it's all dark salt water.
Well, it's like an egg,
Yeah.
and it opens up
It
like
lets you
a
in.
Star Wars thing, and it has steps that you walk down in, and then you lay in this pool of salt water, and the salt is the same content as what body mass is. So when you get in the water, you don't
very
sink.
buoyant. Yeah, you become very buoyant.
And you feel suspended. And I'm super excited to do that. And I don't know if you know, but like when you go in there, they close the lid and you're in this pod.
All dark.
And you can do it completely dark. You can have it do like lots of different colors. You can have it change different colors.
I can see you doing
can have
it.
it completely silent.
And that's what I
Or
would
you can have them play your music. And so my idea when I go is I want to go and have them put me in, turn off all the lights. I don't want any lights. I want complete sensory deprivation.
Gotcha.
And then I don't want it silent, though.
That's not complete then.
Well, I want everything else complete.
Gotcha.
Other than hearing.
You want to hear something.
I want to hear.
You want to hear something.
And I want them to put on, from start to finish, Pink Floyd,
I knew
The
it.
Wall.
I knew you was going to
You
say
know
Pink
it,
Floyd.
baby.
I knew you were going to say Pink Floyd.
Just laying there
In the total dark.
going on that ride.
Your body's not touching anything, so you're not feeling. And then it's totally dark, so you're not seeing anything. And then you're taking this psychedelic ride in your mind
It's not
with
even,
Pink Floyd.
to me, it's not even psychedelic. It's like, have you seen the movie? Like, how many times?
Once.
Okay. I'm going to go out on a limb here. Plus or minus 30 times.
Wow.
Like, that movie is a masterpiece. And here's the thing that people, like, overlook it because it wasn't done by a major studio. So the quality wasn't quite what it could be. So it was almost in between being a B movie and a regular A movie.
Gotcha.
But the music and the artwork carried it over to be something special. Really not to A, because it was still not the same quality, but that artwork and the music took it to the next level for the individual enjoying it.
And that was a lot of individuals enjoying it. That's why I said 8, because they looked past.
Do you know why I saw it so many times?
Why?
Because in Lubbock, Texas, on Friday and Saturday night at midnight, they had 6 movies that played every Friday and Saturday night called the Midnight Movie. Dude, we would be there. All the films there, Pink Floyd, The Wall was the one I saw the most. The second one was the Led Zeppelin movie, The Song Remains the Same. Holy shit. The drum solo in that movie is mind-blowing. Okay, I'm going to just put that out there.
Gotcha.
But then, did you remember the animated film Heavy Metal?
Yes.
That was one of them. Another one was Clockwork Orange, which was like a sick, sadistic, violent.
As there is.
I mean,
it was.
Like, they
it was
don't make
today's
movies.
version.
They don't make movies today that sadistic.
It was today's version of Caligula.
Yeah, and it was worse.
True. And who was it? Was it McDowell?
Oh,
that was the lead. Yeah,
that was the leader.
What's his name? Roddy McDowell.
Yeah, but that film was literally disturbing.
It was.
If you have not seen Clockwork Orange and you would like to be disturbed,
very disturbed,
that movie takes it to a level that you do not know because they would not allow that today.
No.
I mean, they celebrated raping women. They celebrated killing people of other colors. They celebrated shit that would make you go, Whoa.
Running around, what was it, in diapers and derbies.
Dude, they had long johns and these weird diapers on.
And derbies.
and derby hats.
Yeah.
And one of them, I believe, maybe two of them walked with a walking stick.
Cane. Yeah, walking stick. Yep.
I don't know if it was a cane.
It was
I think
sticks.
it was more of a walking stick because it was more to like beat the shit
and
out of
that's what
people.
they use them for.
But when you watch that movie, you thought to yourself, I hope I never run across people like that.
And the thing was, I watched it when I was a kid.
Oh.
It prepared me for life, man.
I think the first time I watched it, I was probably 15.
Yeah. No, I was younger than that. I was like 11, 12.
Did it blow your mind?
It fucked me up.
Yeah,
Excuse me. I'm sorry for that.
No.
But dude, it messed. I was like, wow.
Dude, that was a movie that, like, when it started, you were like, oh, this is pretty cool.
And then
within probably 20 minutes, you're
it
like,
went way over the edge.
I don't condone that. You know?
Way over the edge.
And it was like they made a movie that was all about the villain.
All about the villain.
The psychological depravity, or is it depravity? Depravity of young men
in London
in England.
They were all in London. It was just England.
And it was like
that were allowed to just do what the hell they wanted to do,
and they were just mean.
Just
and I would not even say just mean. They were twisted, very twisted.
Clockwork Orange.
Now, you know, it reminded me of Escape from New York.
Escape from New York.
But
New York was no. Now I messed up that word.
Joke
it was a joke compared to that. Correct.
Like they took you on a journey in Escape from New York on, hey, this is a great, cool idea. Clockwork Orange was like, this is a horrible idea, and here's the reason why.
And it proved itself.
Because, like, you know, I don't think rules and laws apply to me because I think they are necessary because there's a lot of dumb people out in the world.
Yes.
But those dudes in Clockwork Orange took it to a level where they're like, not only are these laws not for us, they're not for us because that's what we're going to do. I didn't, when I were like, that law doesn't apply to me, it's because I would never rape a woman. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't need that law.
Versus them, we're going to rape them. We're going to applaud it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to, it took you back to
and not only are they like raping this woman, it's like, in the process and the end, they are humiliating her, making her feel like
total
worthless.
Shit. Yeah, total shit.
Like the regular world is not where we are. And
it totally was.
And they took it to a level where you're just like, I don't know anybody that evil.
I don't want to
know, but right?
That evil.
I mean, because that's how they... The only scene in any other movie that comes close to giving me that sense of, oh, this is bad. You remember the movie Training Day?
Yeah.
Remember when Ethan Hawke was sitting at the table in the barrio
and Denzel had left
three dudes, and he thought Denzel was going to be right back.
Nope.
And he was gone.
Done.
And one of the three Hispanic guys sitting there says, you ever had your shit pushed in?
Sure did.
And he's like, no. Whoa. Did you hear what I said, bro?
Yep.
Have you ever had your shit pushed in? And he's like, all right, now I'm feeling a little uncomfortable.
Oh, yes.
Dude, that scene was like a baby scene for what happened in Clockwork Orange.
You know what scene takes me there? And this is a movie I saw when I was young, too.
What's that?
The scene with the cross
The Cross.
And
who was in that?
No, that's not the movie. The movie is The Exorcist.
Oh.
But the scene was when she took that cross.
How old were you when you saw that movie?
9, 10.
I was 6.
Damn.
My parents took me with them.
Damn.
It was the 70s.
Yeah, because we got parents didn't go to movies by themselves. They took us.
And to be fair, up until that movie, there had never been a demonic movie like it.
Oh, no.
So when you take your kid, you think you're going to see a scary movie, and then when you see what you see, you're like, almost like Clockwork Orange. Mm-hmm. That was a monumental sidestep from what people were used to.
Motherfucker, I hit the point.
You hit the dude.
Oh, it's totally different.
Isn't it? It is strange how just that 1 inch.
And what I'm talking about.
And it's not a bad cigar.
No.
Without the wrapper. It's like my palate recognizes these flavors, but it's not that cigar that I know.
Dude, when I hit, I purposely was watching. I was like, okay, I'm getting close. And when I hit it, I took a deep draw off of it. And I was like, woo. It's just like my entire palate just woke up like, woo. That's what you remember.
And that's how it was for me on the Medallia a couple of nights ago, was when it got to the wrapper, and I'm not bullshitting, like literally when I saw the wrapper was on fire, it was immediate. Was it that way for you?
Yes.
Was it immediate?
Yes.
If you haven't tried this at home, guys, pick out like the cigar that you consider a go-to cigar that you know, and cut off an inch of the wrapper above the foot and try it. You will notice, like, I can't tell you like what I taste different without the wrapper. But when I get to the wrapper, my brain's like, nope, that's it.
It's like it intensified it. It made
it right. You know what I mean? All rights with the world when I got to the wrapper. Because it brought back what I know.
The retro hell is even better. It's just like everything about
now
this.
Maybe I missed out there because I did not retro hell without the wrapper.
I did.
How was that?
It was just like, I know the flavors, but it was just like bland. Now that I just did the first retro hell after the wrapper, I'm feeling the spices is like my nose is like tingling with it. And I'm like, it's different. It's weird, but it's different. I'm shutting up. I got to smoke.
It's like, you know, we did it once before, and we did it with a cigar that was not a go-to. And so I noticed a difference, but I didn't think much about it. When you actually do this with a go-to cigar that you really, really know, it's totally night and day.
God, just something that simple, man. Just something that simple. Oh, this is delicious.
You know what I can tell you is getting kind of hungry. You know, last time I got hungry, we did a 5-minute show.
Dude, but you were a little bit totally that way. Today you're not, so.
Not yet. We ain't on a Light 'em Up Crew show yet. Hey, and we want to say thank you to all of the Light 'em Up Crew members. That's our Patreon team, and they support us monthly, and we appreciate it. You guys, I mean, hats off to each and every one of you, for real. I appreciate
100.
And if you are interested in becoming a member of the Light 'em Up Crew, there's a link in the show notes for the Patreon link. And if you do that, we would also love for you to join the Cigar Talk Discord, where the shenanigans are free-flowing. That's what I'll say, free-flowing. But we just want to say thank you to all you guys that support the show. You know what? We're going to take a quick break in just a second, and then we're going to come back and do our pick six. But before we go, let's knock out all of the sponsors. And for you guys that may be new, don't fucking hit skip ahead, because if you think that you don't want to hear the sponsors, you do. One, we have badass sponsors.
Yes.
But 2 is we don't ever just talk about the sponsors.
No.
Usually, the sponsor section is where I get creative. And by creative, I mean vulgar.
Very.
So, you were at the Leaf a couple of nights ago.
Yes, sir.
We were all sitting at the table. And for you guys at home, I was approached by someone at the Leaf and said, hey, someone said that y'all being in the Havana room, doing the show, somebody complained because y'all were being vulgar. And I said, when you say y'all, do you actually mean me? And he was like, yes. So it was not you, Bryant. It was me. And Jay said, you know what? We can let
you said someone at first. Now you said who it is.
Okay. Jay said, sorry, Jay. I tried. So, no, anyway, Jay said, you know what? We can have y'all come in the office, set up, close the door. I said, what the fuck? I'm a second-tier citizen? This ain't the 60s, bro. No, I didn't say that. But you know what? It would be a different vibe knowing that we were in the office and not in the Havana room.
It's totally different.
And so I was like, you know what, dude? It's all cool. We'll just go back and do it in the studio. And Jay was like, dude, I'm here to make happen however you want to do it. And I said, you know what? If somebody was offended, we are going to not be that show. Yes, we are. Fuck them. Fuck them. Scott Fritz, you suck dick. You suck a lot of dick because you're Scott Fritz. Okay, I got that out of my system. I got that out of my system. Now, back to the sponsors.
Oh, my God.
Scott Fritz, you suck dick. Okay, dude. Now it's out of my system.
Dude.
Now it's out of my system. For you at home, I was at the Leaf a few nights ago, and Scott Fritz... Scott Fritz was at the table that all my friends were sitting at. I don't know why, but he was. Anyway, I asked him, I said, hey, man, did you know we can't record at the Leaf anymore because somebody ratted us out for being vulgar? God. And he was like, no, I didn't know that. And then it was funny because within 3 minutes, the dude's packing up his shit and leaving. I was like, I don't know if I had anything to do with it, but if I did, good. Get that fucker out of here. You know what I'm saying? Let's roast that motherfucker.
We're supposed to be doing the sponsors.
Oh, yeah. See, that's what I'm talking about. Do you want to miss out on the sideways shit? No, you don't. You want to listen to the sponsorships because that's where the good shit is. I make sure that's where the best shit is.
I can't do no shake my head.
So, sponsor number 1, the Leaf. The Leaf.
You sure it wasn't Scott?
Fuck that dude. I wouldn't let that dude sponsor me if he promised to blow both of us.
That's not going to happen.
Right? Okay, if you do Larry without coming up for air.
Oh, my God. No, stop, man.
Okay.
Dude.
I'm going to reel it in. I'm going to reel it in. I'm sorry. All right? Forgive me. I'm sorry. Went out a little bit.
Visual. You in visuals, man.
I love visuals.
You in visuals.
When I get on a visual, I'm like, how far can we roll with this? Sometimes what I learned is too far.
Too far.
And that's where it starts getting fun.
Yelling, pineapples, 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 pineapples.
So anyway, the Leaf.
Thank you.
Sponsors Cigar Talk. We appreciate those guys. We appreciate what they do. Even if they weren't sponsors, we would appreciate them because it's our home away from home. It really is. I mean, I can go there. I can hang out with people and chit chat. I can go and hang out by myself and enjoy a stogie. Great selection, great customer service. If you want to order some, look in the show notes. Their phone number's there. You can call them up. And speaking of our next 2 cigar sponsors, they sell both of their cigars there. So if you want to try our sponsored cigars, which happens to be my go-to cigars,
yeah.
and, you know, and the funny thing is, for you that don't know, these were my go-to cigars before they became sponsors. They became sponsors because once they were my go-tos, I was like, I got to get these. You know what? I can talk about these every day because I never get tired of them, which is 100% true.
Yes, sir.
So, let's talk about McAuliffe. For you that don't know, they're coming out with a new sampler box in September that's going to be a 5x40. 5 different cigars, 2 each.
Yep.
And I think it's going to be like $140.
and
2 of them in there are the Reserva.
Yes.
Dude.
Yes.
I'm like, you know what? Don't tell anyone. But I'm going to let Jay know, like, when that comes in, I want a box. Just like the Craft 22.
You just told everyone.
They don't, yeah. Anyway, that's going in my humidor for 6 months.
Yes, sir. Yes,
You know what I'm saying? And I know McAuliffe ages their cigars before they send them out.
Doesn't matter. We know they're going to be good.
When I get a cigar box that special,
we got to take care
I'm going to be like, I want to savor. You know how many times now you see where the Craft 22 is right there? It has all you can see is 2022 on the box. It's standing up on down. It's on the top row.
Yes, sir.
And every time I open the humidor, I'm like, ugh.
They talk to you.
They do. I hear like, you remember Grover from Sesame Street?
Yes.
Take me. Take me. I'm like, nah, not yet. You're still 12. So, anyway.
Orange.
And let's talk about Tabanero.
Ooh.
So, that's what I'm smoking right now. And, you know, it's also one of my go-to cigars. And if you happen to be at the Leaf when I'm smoking, there's probably a 60% chance I'm smoking this cigar. You know what I mean? It's a go-to because it's good all the time.
Yeah. Those cigars, when you introduced them to me, immediately became a go-to because of the quality, you know, the flavor, that ride that we go on. And I have yet to have one that has disappointed me. And I truly appreciate what
consistency.
Yes.
And, you know, the thing about it is, like, I went down to the Leaf today, and I bought 2 Saka cigars. Mm-hmm. One was the Connecticut, and the other one was the Maduro. Both of the, I think it's called the Sombrelay. Something like that. Sombra Misa, something. I don't know. I'm sure I'm going to get ribbed by the Light 'em Up crew for not remembering, but, you know, fuck off. Anyway, dude, first of all, the Connecticut, like Julio raves about that cigar.
Yes, he does.
And I'm like, first time I smoked it today, first of all, it was kind of plugged. And second of all, the flavor was not there for me at all. And, dude, I want to say probably 1.5 inches in, I just tossed the whole cigar into the ashtray.
Wow.
And then I smoked the Maduro version of that same cigar, and I think probably within the first 1.5 inches, it started tunnel burning, and it was just crunchy feeling when I pinched on it, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to smoke this.
Oh.
I'm not. I only have an hour or two to enjoy cigars. I'm not going to sit there with
fight
what would you call it? A inferior created product. Now, I'm not saying Saka cigars across the board are inferior by any means. I've smoked a lot of Saka, and I generally really enjoy it. It was just my luck of the draw,
that the ones
I got 2 shitty ones.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yes, it does.
You can't not show a cigar company some grace.
Yes, that's true. It's a product. It's a man-made product.
It's a man-made product,
and it has
if you're not
transportation.
If you're smoking machine-made cigars, you're probably going to have perfection every time. But when you make them from hand, you know, the roller that made your cigar came in hung over his shit. He didn't feel good. He was like, "Yeah, it's good enough." But most of the time, they're knocking it out of the park.
Tell the truth.
Or they wouldn't be working for who they're working
Tell
for.
the truth.
So it was what it was, but I immediately went and got a Tabanero Sun-Grown because that one never lets me down. It's always spot on.
Yeah.
And so you can't go wrong. And then our last sponsor, if you're looking for a humidor, a travel humidor, a watch box, dude, if it's
a man bag,
if it's something that a man wants, you can go check them out. But if you're looking for a humidor, let me tell you what, you're not going to find someone anywhere better at a better price.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Like when they came out, they had a lot of trials and errors getting to where they are now.
Yes.
And over the course of time, when they came out, did you know they were like trying to compete price-wise with people on Amazon?
Wow.
And what they figured out was if you try to sell a humidor that's the quality that they make, they will lose money by selling them as cheap. So they were like, you know what? This is the quality that we demand, so this is what it costs. Well, you would think that when people go on Amazon, they'd be like, oh, I can buy a really cheap humidor or I can buy this one, right? No, not the case. The cheap humidors saw them and said, oh, we'll raise our price to match their price, but you still got the piece of crap humidor. For you guys that don't know, maybe you're new, I don't know, but I'm going to guess 3-4 months ago, we did a video on YouTube, and we showed a Case Elegance humidor and one that's in the same price point, same design from Amazon. We cut them both in half, and Case Elegance had cedar wood, quite a bit of it, and the other one was paper that looked like cedar. No cedar.
None.
Zero.
None.
And people wondered why they could never get their humidor seasoned.
There was no opportunity for seasoning.
When you have no wood,
Yep.
and I mean that physically and spiritually. You know what I mean.
Knew you were going to go there.
Hey, wood.
Knew you were going to
You know
go
what
there.
I'm saying. Babe Ruth.
Tried to warn people.
Wood.
Tried to warn people.
So, anyway, for all of our sponsors, look down the show notes. There's links for each one. There's a phone number for the Leaf. Call them up. Get you some cigars. Come by the Leaf. Hang out with me and Bryant and smoke.
Yep.
We love getting
Get
the
you the
opportunity to
opportunity,
hang
yep.
out with some listeners
Yep.
and just, learn about you guys. Because, we know about each other. We, practically are together a lot.
Oh, truthfully, yeah.
Yeah. You thought I was going to go somewhere different.
Yeah, and I'm thankful you did.
I didn't, because I didn't want to offend you.
Thank you.
Fuck Scott Fritz.
Oh, God.
But anyway, hey guys, we're going to take a little quick break, and when we come back, we'll give you our pick six of the week. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after the break. Hey guys, thanks for hanging through the break. We actually had dinner. Little Taco Bell action.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And, I'm not a big fan, but sometimes it just
hits the spot.
you don't have a
quick.
lot of time. You're quick, and it's like, hey, dude, we still got another show to do. So it was Taco Bell tonight, and hit the spot, and that's all we're gonna say about that.
Yes, sir. Because they're not a sponsor.
Yeah, fuck them. No, I'm just kidding. No. So in the first part of the show, we lit up go-to cigars that we cut the inch of the foot off and just smoked the binder and filler. Very unique experience,
Most definitely.
especially when you do it with a cigar you know.
Yes.
Totally different.
Yes.
I enjoyed it. I recommend that you try it.
Totally enjoyed it.
But
It's an
make-
eye-opener.
It really is.
Yeah.
And also, want to say thank you to Hemsky.
Oh, yes.
That's not his name,
No.
but that's who he's a
I had
fan
to think.
of. Great guy. Follow him on Twitter. He is like the bright spot of my Twitter. My Twitter's like blood.
Mine, too.
You know what I mean?
I don't go on there.
I don't go on there a lot. I try to post on there 3-4 times a week. And when I do, I go on and see what other people are posting. And he's very active. But he's cool because he's like bringing the cigar community together through Twitter.
Okay.
Which I haven't done that.
Me neither.
I don't know how to do that. And he's leading the way. I was like, hey, I'm digging what the guy's doing.
Hats off to you, bro.
Yeah, it's not easy to do.
Not at all.
At least for not an old guy.
You talking about social media, bro.
Mm-hmm.
We sit back and he's like, that was, what's the day? Saturday? That was Thursday when we were up there. They were talking about the tin cans in the string. That's where we come in at. Tin cans in the string. And somebody said something about putting wax or something on it, on the string.
I wasn't there for that.
Yeah, you were.
I was not. I got there afterwards.
You did?
Yeah.
What's his name? Dave was talking about that.
Dave. Oh, old man Dave. Yeah, I wasn't even there.
Yeah, because it's
Thursday night.
Yes, you were.
You came in after.
Yeah, they had
all left.
Yeah, they had left when you got there. Yeah, just thought about that.
Well, since we took a break, we had some dinner. We both lit up cigars. Tell everybody what you're smoking.
The Tabanero
Torpedo.
Yes.
Great smoke. I smoked one earlier.
Yes, sir.
In fact, that's the one I did with the cutting the inch off the foot. And I am smoking the last Divine Inspiration. This is it, bro.
He said, I'm going to go smoke what I want to smoke, and that's what he pulled out of the humidor. A Divine Inspiration.
Great cigar. Really is. You know, I bought the last 5.
Yeah, they still talking about that.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I only smoked 3 of them.
You gave them away.
I gave one to Jay, gave one to Zach, because Zach was like, oh, I never had that before. And I was like, you son of a bitch. Here, take it.
Take it.
Kind of thought there'd be a reach around coming.
Oh,
nope.
my gosh.
Nope. But no, you know what? I'm happy to share.
We know that.
I'd love for people to get to experience something that, especially like, if I don't give that to you, I don't know if you'll ever get one.
And that's true. That's
you know
true.
what I mean? It's that rare, that tough of a cigar to get. So I hope that he loves it.
It's just what you expect in payment. That people have issues with, like, reach around. Nah, bro. Here, you can have your stick back.
And you know what I say?
Visuals.
I'll take it.
We
Hand
know.
it back. I'll take it.
We know.
I think a reach around is like a minimum.
Oh, my God.
With eye contact.
Going there with you, dude.
All right, sorry. Anyway, I'm smoking the Divine Inspiration, and this is a great cigar. And I'm already sad that I don't have another one. You know what I mean? But I'm going to enjoy the shit out of this
of the last one.
It's the Casa Cuba Divine Inspiration. Arturo Fuente makes it. If you get an opportunity to smoke one, knock yourself out. If you get an opportunity to buy a box and ship it to me and Bryant, knock yourself out. Just saying.
Just saying. I'm not looking for anything in response, but
right.
Just saying.
Yeah. I mean, we're just throwing that out there. So anyway, we're gonna jump into the weekly pick 6. I've had some very interesting cigars that were outside of my norm this week, so I'm looking forward to what I have. What do you have?
As usual, I go first. And jumping out the box, I'm going to say, started off the week with a Rocky Patel Aged Limited Rare, the ALR.
Oh, good stick. You know, that's one of my Rockies.
Yeah. There are a million Rockies, but there are a few that make that cut.
Yeah.
And this is one of them.
And it's in the upper echelon.
Oh, yes.
Really is a good stick.
It's a good stick. Number 2, Crowned Heads Mil Diaz, the Corona Gorda, 6x46.
Oh.
He said, oh.
What stuck out when you said what you said was Gorda, and I thought you were smoking like a 6x60, and I was like,
6x46, baby.
That's my favorite go-to in the Mil Diaz.
And to top out my week, I had a great stick, not talking about the Wanderlust that I just finished, but I had a Tatuaje 10th anniversary.
How was that?
Dude! Sorry, I threw my phone down.
And I burped.
We talk about Tatuaje and the sticks that we enjoy from them. and this is going to that number one spot with me. And I'm just like, man, this dude.
You know, that's one brand that I have limited experience in. What limited experience I do have, I've really liked it. In fact, a different Tatuaje is on my list this week.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I don't want to say like mine because I don't want to think like you.
Well, and I'll give you one.
Okay.
But, yeah, I've been a fan, and it's like, it's that brand I feel like everybody else knows about except for us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because I was like, I got my friend back in St. Louis, Jeff. He talked. I was like, because he's a Rocky man. He loves Rockies. And I said, man, I tried to. He said, Tatuaje. I was like, yeah. He just went on. I was like, damn, I just found out about these motherfuckers. How you know?
I mean, I've known about them for years.
I haven't.
But their availability at most of my brick and mortars that I go to don't carry them.
And that might be my problem.
And so it's like I don't get to smoke. And they have a very wide range of cigars. But what I've noticed is all of their cigars, whether you love the blend, like the blend, or it's not really your favorite, the construction has been great. And you know how important that is to me.
Most
like,
definitely.
if it would be like if you didn't start out like judging cigars on construction, it would be like evaluating a prized bull that didn't have balls. You get what I'm saying?
I don't want to
go to but what is important. And if that beautiful bull can't reproduce, you get the example.
Dude, you something else, man. Can we get your big 6 foot?
Yes.
Your 3 foot 6. God,
that's
man.
fine. That's fine. You want to go there?
That dude kicks the door open, man.
Come on down. Let me pray for you, brother. Come on down. So, Anyway, so I'll start with my Tatuaje. I got the Series P. You ever had that one?
No.
It's the white band with the all the way around. I don't know what you call those symbols that New Orleans loves so much. The little if you hadn't said that, I'd have told you. Keep going. It's probably like a racist thing.
No, it is. Well, at one time it was.
Right. Like, here, shove this up their butt. Anyway, it's called the Series P, and it literally costs $3. And I promise you, Big Adam is the one that turned me on to him. And I think he told me he got them for $2 or $2.50. But
the Fleur-de-Lis, that's what it's called.
Fleur-de-Lis. Well, they're not in Florida. They're in New Orleans.
Fleur-de-Lis.
Oh, gotcha. Anyway. Dude, that Series P from Tatuaje is like $3, and it's a $10 stick all day long.
I'll find out. I will find out.
Yeah, I got one with your name on it.
Thank you, sir.
And then I actually took pictures of my picks this week so I could remember. And then
you're following in my footsteps.
Don't get excited. do not get excited, because when I went to go get us our dinner, I left my phone in the car.
Oh, so you don't have.
So now I'm gonna have to pull from my recollection, which is not anywhere near my rectum.
All right, folks.
I'm just saying.
We're going down that rabbit hole.
It's not near. Now, it's closer to my erection.
Oh, my God. We're going down that hole. Damn.
Remember the electric company?
On PBS?
Yeah. I always sang that song, The Erection Company. Early in the morning, got my coffee. Dude, that was like a year ago.
You need
smoking
help,
a cigar.
For real? You need help.
What was that black dude's name?
Morgan Freeman.
And I'm like, oh, Morgan. He's so young.
He never looked young, bro.
Right. He always looked 80.
Oh, he just looked old, man.
But no, I'm going to go with my second cigar is going to be the McAuliffe Leyenda. Two.
Mm.
And, I actually prefer the 2.
Okay.
Now, do you?
I'm a 1.
the one is like a 7-inch stick,
Mm-hmm.
where the two I want to say is like a 5.5.
Yeah.
And I just
You like that range?
I really do. It's like I get that flavor profile. It hits me up a couple of times, and then it fades out into the sunset. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Visuals.
Yeah. And then my number one, not what?
Well,
one of my three.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say number one. Was the Lancero I smoked from Villager.
Lancero?
Yeah.
You
know what? It was a very light cigar. Smoked really well. Had a little complexity to it. Not a whole lot, but it was a very light cigar. But I had no issues smoking a Lancero, which is unusual for me, because usually I get tripped up and I'm like, all right, I'm smoking it too fast, or it went out. I didn't have to relight it one time. And so give a shout out to Villager. And do you remember the first time you saw Villager cigars?
First time.
Well, I'll tell you. My first time was at the Leaf. They had like cigarillos that are box pressed.
Yeah.
And they're just like, and I actually bought a few of those.
Wow, you did?
I did. Way back in the day, I was like, for a quick smoke, it's not a cigarette, it's actually a cigar. And it was good.
Yeah.
But that's whole cigarillo thing. And they're actually a little bit bigger than the regular cigarillos. They're box pressed. And I mean, like, that's how wide the box is. And for you that can't
see,
you're not here right now. I'm holding my thumb and my middle finger about 4.5 inches apart.
Dude.
What?
Nothing. Just keep going,
so
please.
Anyway, I was impressed with Villager. I've smoked some of their cigars before, and I'll tell you straight up, you know what? They're mostly known for budget cigars. Their budget cigars are decent. They're not great.
Nope.
They're cheap, and I don't want to smoke them. Not going to lie. A mediocre cigar is not making it into my rotation.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Now, if your budget is a
mediocre,
$3 cigar,
then go with it. Run with it.
It's one of the best $2 to $3 cigars I've smoked.
Yes.
But the $3 range does not make it into my repertoire.
See, it's not making it. So sorry.
Ain't happening.
Gotcha.
But Villager has since, over the last probably 2 years, started coming out with some more quality stuff.
Okay.
And I said it months ago on the show. I was telling somebody about a Lancero. They hadn't had them before. And I was like, here's the thing. Nobody makes a shitty Lancero. A company that's going to make a Lancero knows they have to make it with some good tobacco.
Yes, that's true.
Otherwise, why waste your time? You can make a shitty stick in any size. Why are you paying rollers extra to roll a shitty cigar? So that's not the case. So if you make a Lancero, you're going to use the best of what you have.
Yes.
And that's what I felt about the Villager.
Okay.
It was, it made my list.
Okay.
That's it.
Gotcha.
Was that 3?
Yeah. That's 6 good sticks this week.
Boom.
That's 6 good sticks this week. 6 quality sticks this week.
You know what? From heart to heart, I say it's like a sore pecker. You just can't beat it.
From the man talking about the electric company, I had to make sure I said it correctly. And coffee in the morning.
Let me tell you about the priest I had.
Oh, no.
I'm joking. So, this is the time of the show where usually I do the joke of the week.
Oh, Jesus.
Please
be with us.
I didn't prepare one this week.
Oh, he was with us.
You know what? I can probably...
No, don't pull nothing out.
I say I can pull an old one
out.
But most of those are
NSFW.
Very offensive.
NSFW. No, they're not.
One of my jokes I told a couple of weeks ago, you even said was racist.
Which one was that?
The Art Kelly joke.
Oh, yeah.
Thought he was swimming.
Yeah.
Going up. That wasn't racist. Dude, let me tell you something. Would that be something that you would think you would hear from Archie Bunker?
First of all,
and did you watch that show?
I did.
Boom. And was it racist to you?
It wasn't then, because I really didn't know what I was watching. It was the 70s.
But if it wasn't racist then, it's not racist now.
To me, it's life. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of things that were on television back then that they wouldn't dare put on television now.
Right.
And Archie Bunker's one of them. You couldn't watch Good Times today.
No.
They would. The Jeffersons,
oh yeah,
especially with what he said on the show every week.
And think about at that time,
oh man,
in culture, it was like something that had never happened before. When you made a weekly show that was a successful black man. You know what I mean? What other show did you see that had that?
The theme song started off, "We're moving on up."
Right.
To the east side.
To the top.
Yeah.
No, to the top.
No, I said, "We're moving on up."
Yeah.
To the east side.
I get that. But
and
in
to
the end, it was to the top.
It's just like, oh, man. People, it's soft, man.
I mean, think about this, dude. You think about this. When Mr. Jefferson lived in what we would think back, I mean, it didn't show it in this light, but in the time frame that show was portrayed, Mr. Jefferson would have lived in the ghetto.
True.
So where did Archie Bunker live?
The ghetto.
Right.
Because they lived next door to each other.
Poor.
Yeah, they lived next door to each other.
And there was what you would say today is racism on both sides. But when it came down to it, they were who they were. And it wasn't like they were trying to be offensive. No. That's just how they were taught. That's how they thought.
And that was life back then. It was totally life back then. Today, as we know, life has changed.
Boom.
Culture has changed.
For the worse.
It's a lot of things you can't do or say that just...
Not true. Not true.
Well, they would rather you not say.
Who's they?
The minority, because that's what it is.
Boom.
And we get to a point where what doesn't offend you? That's the question. What doesn't offend you?
I remember my joke.
Oh, Lord, no. How did this conversation make you remember your joke, man?
Exactly.
That lets me know that I don't want this joke to go out.
So, and this is not an original.
Oh, Jesus.
So that probably relieves you a little bit.
No, it doesn't.
Because you know where my original jokes are always way down low. So, anyway.
I've checked out, folks.
So, you see like men come forward and be like, you know what? I'm a woman. And you know what? That's fine. I mean, what do you think? If someone says they're a woman, what do you say?
That's all on them. I ain't got nothing to do with me.
I'm down. You're a woman.
That's
cool.
That's
whatever works for you. And the thing about it is people are like, oh, they're just trying to get this or they're just trying to get that. Let me tell you something. If a man comes forward and says, I'm a woman, let me tell you something about that guy. He is 150% committed, believes he is a woman. You know how I know that? I mean, modern medicine, they can whip off his dick. Yeah. They can put on a vagina. They can big boobs and put those on. But you know what they haven't figured out yet?
And that is?
How to make the guy's brain smaller. So if you're willing to go down that road, I know you're serious. You know what I'm saying? Right?
I just get you.
And I mean, who wants to come forward and be like, hey, please sign me up to be a second-tier citizen?
Oh, my God.
I'm joking to all you women out there.
Oh, my God.
I'm joking.
I like the way you played at that time. But I heard this joke this week, and I think I sent it to you. You got this farmer who had like 100 head of cattle. He needed a bull. So he spent $29,000 on this young bull. They told him that he was going to be able to sire, no issues at all. So he gets the bull, brings him to his land, The bull never touched the cow. He just walk around all day not doing anything. So the rancher got mad and he called the vet. He said, I done spent all this money on this bull and he ain't doing nothing. The vet said, I can solve that. He said, I got some pills to solve that. So the vet comes, gives the bull some pills. He calls the rancher back in a week. He said, how's the bull? He said, man, that bull is crazy. He didn't hit all of my cattle. He didn't hit my friend down the road's cattle. And right now, I don't even know where he is, and I hear some dogs yelling. The vet was like, is there a problem? He said, no. He said, it must be them pills. He said, why do they taste like peppermint, though? The rancher took the pills.
I get you.
I was like, oh, my God. Where does this come from?
So why is the bull doing what he's supposed to do?
Evidently the pills, and that's why the rancher took them.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, was the farmer fucking everybody?
Oh, my God. I'm sorry.
Hey,
folks.
I'm
sorry.
Whoa. I have a health message to pass out. I recently found this out about Viagra, and this is not bullshit, okay? This is very serious. Did you know that they have discovered that I think it was 10 milligrams a day of Viagra gives you an 1,800% chance to avoid Alzheimer's? That's not a joke.
And based on this, how?
No, I'm just saying. My brother told me he's already doing it. He told me it reduces your possibility of getting Alzheimer's by 1,800%. I don't know how that math adds up because I think if you're 100%, you're just not going to get it. 1,800%, I'm like, so if I take them, I can protect 17 of my closest friends. Although he said it doesn't work that way. But I didn't know that. And he said there's no, like, erection side effects when you're only taking 10 milligrams. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, dementia and Alzheimer's. And the reason why is it, like, increases the blood flow into your brain.
Because that's what Viagra was initially.
And I said was probably because that's where your brain is. Opens up the blood flow.
Keep smoking.
Hey, guys, y'all have a good week. We'll see you next time.
Happy trails to you. Keep smiling until then.
Who cares about the clouds when we're together? Just sing a song and think about sunny weather.
Happy trails to you till we meet